This is definitely going to be a really meaty topic. And so, if you're one of those to drill into the details of algorithms and how content ranks, this is probably going to be the podcast for you.
The last 2 years, I've been deeply involved in basically researching everything around this topic.
A lot of people are going to be familiar with semantic SEO.
Practitioners of semantic SEO Korai style, they see good results not only in Google but also in AI.
You had mentioned that it's again semantically based. It's not as link based.
The landscape is moving into AI direction, into AI semantic field, into the meaning, not link.
What you mean by semantic retrieval optimization?
It's based on how AI understands the information.
How is it possible to just write good content and have it rank?
One of the most important things you can do to your website.
All right, welcome back to the Niche Pursuits podcast. My name is Jared Bauman, and today we're joined by Sergey Lucktinov. Sergey, welcome on board.
Hi, Jared. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. You were just kind of saying the outside. I was asking if you knew much about the podcast. You're saying this is a podcast you had listened to over the years here and there. So we're excited to have you on. Glad to have you. I tell you, I'm excited about the topic today too, as well.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic and it's very in high demand right now.
Yeah. Yeah, to kind of cut to the chase, we're talking about SEO and we're talking about AI. We're going to get deep in the weeds on search, on ranking in search, but also in ranking for these LLMs and that sort of thing. This is definitely going to be a really meaty topic, and so if you're one of those total nerds that just loves to drill into the details of algorithms and how content ranks, this is probably going to be the podcast for you. I don't want to bury the lead too much though. Give us some backstory. Tell us about yourself, about your journey to where you're at right now.
So I've been in marketing for about 15 years. I started as in-house SEO. Then like a year later, I switched to agency model. I've been an agency for 3 years. Didn't really like the model. So I started doing that stuff, that strategy on my own websites. And the last 10 years, I've been in affiliate SEO. And it was very good. I never had any issues. Any update, it would never affect me. But 2 years ago in March, everything changed. I got hit. I'm not sure which update it was. It might be helpful content, but I'm not. I think it was slightly after that. And I wasn't sure because like it never happened to me. I started asking myself why, and I started researching it more. And that's when I met Koray Tupgur, and he started explaining the system, the semantic SEO thing that made perfect sense. Kind of, like you don't have to have a lot of links. You can rank with the high quality content. And he was showing some case studies that really impressed me. So I started learning more. And the last 2 years, I've been deeply involved in basically researching everything around this topic. Um, uh, Last year or so, I've been also like, at some point I realized that this semantic stuff, it's very confusing. No, like when you start learning it, it's like what is this, what is that? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound like conventional SEO, and it all fit into the right places when I started researching AI infrastructure because I wanted to learn what AI is, how it works, what are transformers, what exactly it is. And once I started taking courses on AI infrastructure and AI engineering, I saw the same concepts I saw in Carré system. I'm like, okay, maybe there is something to it. So I started analyzing it, and it looked like 90% of Carré's framework is basically AI engineering. So I started learning even more, and then I thought, what if I'm gonna switch the system? Like if um, Carré system helps to rank in search engines, it must be very useful for ranking in AI because that's basically AI, and that's how I started really diving deep into AI infrastructure, how it works, and applying this semantic SEO layer in it, and trying to make a system out of it. And that's where this semantic retrieval optimization came from, because when I figured out what the system is and how it works, I'm like, okay, we need a better name. And all the other names that we had uh, like 6 7 months ago, even right now, they all kind of make sense, but they don't really go into the core of the process, how everything works. So that's how semantic retrieval optimization came about.
It's fascinating to hear you talk about it. A lot of people are going to be familiar with semantic SEO and are going to understand that concept. And it makes complete sense from a high level that a lot of that would translate over to what AI is doing. Could you give listeners a high level on what the semantic SEO approach that you learned from Corey kind of embodies, maybe just from a very high level, so people can kind of get their mind around it?
Okay,
Okay.
so Karai system is, in a nutshell, is how you structure your website. Basically, you have has a concept, topical authority. So you cover your topic as much as you can, and that builds you an authority. And the more authoritative your site is, the higher you rank in Google, and you also rank in AI, because Karai system is very AI engineering heavy. Uh, AI sees it, and that's why people, practitioners of semantic SEO Karai style, they see good results not only in Google but also in AI.
So you had mentioned that it's again semantically based. It's not as link based. Talk from a high level about what the structure looks like to basically allow for content to rank more broadly on its content depth and more broadly on the way the site is structured than maybe on some the way some people think about things, which is more of a link based approach.
In Since maybe like I should explain how AI is different from search engine, because those are two very different things, and they work in a different way. Or is it too basic?
Go for it.
Okay, so search engine is so to speak deterministic mm, tool. Like it when you search whatever keyword, you always depend, like if you're gonna have in the same from the same location, if you search same keyword, you're gonna have same results all the time, because that's deterministic. It's determined. There is no probabilities. It's there until the update happens. LLMs, they are fundamentally different. They use probabilities. That's in transformer infrastructure. That's the math, and the way it extracts information is by analyzing search results and picking the best candidates that are the cheapest, the clearest, the most safe to extract, and then it combines an answer from those candidates. So that's the key difference. Right now, what's happening for the last 2 years, Google has not been happy with how their model worked. So they started implementing this AI features into their algorithm. They didn't do it like right away, all suddenly. So they doing it slowly. They're doing it step by step, but it's moving. The landscape is moving into AI direction, into AI semantic field, into the meaning, not links. Links are still important, but they're important less and less with time. So, to answer your question, uh, when we optimize through semantic SEO, we optimize for meaning, for clarity, uh, to answer the question and question, uh, the frame of the question perfectly. So it kind of matches traditional semantic search engine goal to answer the question, but it just takes it to a different level because in this case the question is answered perfectly because AI, not AI, search engine can understand the frame and the intent behind the question. Uh, so what we're trying to do with semantic SEO is to optimize for that clarity, to give uh, LLM or search engine Google uh, everything about the topic. So it sees, okay, like this subject, this website explains everything so good. They must know it because it fits perfectly that answer, that required answer. And that's in a nutshell is semantic SEO. Links are still important, but they're not as important as before. Uh, Authority from links is not gonna topple authority from median.
I'm going to ask this question from the skeptic that's probably listening, right? The skeptic that's saying, how is it possible to just write good content and have it rank without driving that authority from links? I know you went through and talked about the shift with Google and that sort of thing. Maybe talk and touch on the structure that's important to get right, some of the things that are important to get right in it to even have a chance of pulling it off. And then I do want to, at that point, kind of transition into some of the adjustments you've made for the AI.
Mhm. Okay. You still need links. Like the issue right now is that AI still depends on traditional SEO. Traditional SEO is the foundation. You're not gonna be even seen in AI by AI if you don't have good SEO foundation. And links are fundamental part of traditional SEO. So you still need links, but at the same time, if you have like you don't have if before it used to be uh like you see a website is DA60 and your website is DA20 and you like there is no chance. I'm not gonna compete with that. It's impossible. Now it's not that clear. Like now you actually can if your website is good on topic, uh, uh, traditional Google still uses it. They switch into semantics as well. You can see it in patterns. Um, a lot of patents, especially since 2015, they move in Google from this keyword-based, link-based authority into semantics. So if you do that, if you optimize, if you create high-quality content that's narrow and wide, narrow enough and wide enough at the same time. That's one of the problems that people have with semantic SEO, particularly, is like, okay, you have a lot of things you can write about on a certain topic, but how do you don't wander to the area where it becomes irrelevant, and how do you stay in the area where you do when where you mention everything? That's the main challenge in semantic SEO. But with the time, you can get there. Like you start with the some content, some structure, high quality, good content, and then you over months you kind of analyze and you figure out what exactly you need to change. um, What's what changed with Google? Uh, who else is ranking? Why are they ranking? It's kind of like a guessing game right now. There are not that many tools that can help you with that, but it's possible to figure out if you know what you're looking for.
Hey guys, just a really quick break to remind you that we're coming to the end of our free GEO snapshot audit that we're offering to Niche Pursuits listeners for free. Again, that's coming to an end really soon, and you can go grab your complimentary audit by going to 201creative.com/GEO snapshot. We've gotten some great feedback on it. Tony said, wow, fixed an issue immediately. I highly recommend. Claire said, clear, actionable guidance. I loved it. Renee said, gave me insights that I've never seen before as it relates to my website and LLMs. Go grab yours today. 201creative.com/GEO snapshot. Again, that's 201creative.com/GEO snapshot. Grab it for free while it's still available. Now, back to the podcast. So when it comes to going from SEO to tweaking this for AIs, and I think you have a term for it, semantic retrieval optimization. Can you maybe segue us into that and talk about what you mean by semantic retrieval optimization and perhaps how it's differing from some of the methodologies with SEO you've already talked about?
Semantic retrieval optimization is a new concept that's it's based on how AI understands the information. It's it's a new concept for search engine optimization, but it's not a new concept for uh, AI infrastructure. They use it there. It is a concept, and the way you switch, the way you use it for AI, and that's uh, the thing here is that you can optimize for um, like let's say if you have perfectly optimized article for semantic SEO or for traditional SEO, it might not be the most ideally optimized article for semantic retrieval optimization.
Hmm.
Is LLM is looking for clarity. LLM is looking for confidence, programmatic confidence. The relationships, the probabilities that come with your content, with analyzing your content, they supposed to be high. You gotta explain the subject clearly. You can't wander into different areas that you're not supposed to, because then you you lower your semantic relevance on the topic. So you create this kind of like ideal article where you have the structure that AI is looking for, and all of your passages, they're perfectly optimized for how AI understands what the subject's supposed to be. Kind of like what AI is, when AI extracts things and builds them into its knowledge base, they have a certain way of doing it, and you need to kind of follow it. That's what microsemantics is about. So you create an article that shows AI that this is very native to it, and then you place it in the right structure where it understands that, okay, like this article is supposed to be about broad topic, right? Because it's the way it's structured is it's macro, so like it links to subsections, sub articles, and the AI understands, okay, like this is wide article, broad article, and it's gonna rank that article for broad keywords. Uh, and you can do it with the structure and with the way how you write actual text, actual content, and it's when AI sees it, it's gonna extract it. Like the thing is that it's gonna use it for uh, compiling an answer, final answer for the user who uses LLM. And it could be very useful for a lot of different industries, specifically for brands. I think the issue with this approach is that affiliate is kind of uh, becomes irrelevant because you missing all the link data, link attribution. But it could be very powerful for actual businesses that want their voice, their solution to be applied for a specific problem.
You've mentioned quality content a couple times now, and I think that that's always a point of confusion for people because, first off, how do you define quality content? I'd love to get your take on that. But also, quality looks very different to perhaps a user who's reading the content than maybe it does to a search bot, a Google crawl bot, an algorithm, an LLM. What does quality content look like in this frame of mind and what you're talking about in terms of an LLM uh, identifying it, wanting to include it in its knowledge base, not feeling like it's wandering off topic, feeling like it's authoritative, like it can be trusted, all the things you had mentioned. What is quality content? Make it a little bit easier for people to get their mind around it.
LLMs, they think in triples. They call it semantic triples. Semantic triple is the most basic structure that any sentence can have. It's like X is Y, or X was Y, or X is just explanation of what X is and how is it relevant to Y. For example, it's super basic. So you need to write your content in that in semantic triples way. But the problem is that if you gonna do that precisely just for LLMs, then the content is gonna look pretty bad for user experience. So the idea is to combine it. So it has to be very easy to understand for LLM that this is a semantic triple, but at the same time, you have to show your end user, which is a customer, that your content is actually good. So it shouldn't read like something that is written for LLM. Um, and that's the basics. What you also have to do, you have to structure it in proper chunks because LLM it retrieves chunks, and usually the most basic chunk is H2. So, like, let's say you have an article, you have H1, you have H2, H3, H4, and so on. So every H2 section is a perfect extraction chunk for LLM. When it sees it, it's like, okay, like it understands that this is a unit that explains a certain thing. And you need to structure this unit in such a way that it explains just one thing.
Mm.
So it's not wandering around, it's not introducing new things. It has to be just about one thing. Um, Also, very important is uh, explaining AI that your content is worthy to trust. Uh, and you do it by if you mention certain uh, um, subjective things, you need to back them up with the case studies or with the, you can say like, this research back then proved that this is that. If especially in YM, YL niches, super important. If you missing those, if you give if your niche is health or money and you're not given those clarifications, that's a huge minus. That's a huge issue. It's not your content might not even be considered for anything. um, so that's one of the things. Then the way you write your content is it's it's like they supposed to be, everything's supposed to be self-contained and in small sections. So as like H2 is one big chunk talking about certain topic, H3 is also sub chunk of that big chunk. So it's you explain topic in a very clear way. Um, what else? Uh, I think I think this is a good start. There are also this has to do with microsemantics, and microsemantics is a pretty big field, and there is a lot of things that involved in there. Uh, but that's a good start.
Well, it's a good segue, and I think you underscored it as you went through it. Writing for, I mean, in this case, LLMs, writing for users, and trying to do both because they do kind of prioritize certain things that differ from each other. Um, so, I mean, I'm going to keep probably bringing it up as we keep talking here, but you did a great job giving us some specific examples. I love the way you talked about exactly how the semantic triples that I wrote down, just the way that LLMs appreciate even just sentence structure, right? And we see that in the way that LLMs produce content as well. So that's fascinating. I mean, I know that you have a bit of a framework for this, and I want to leave plenty of time for us to talk about that framework. I love a good framework, right? I love a good system that kind of makes some of this complicated stuff a little bit easier to digest. Talk about your SRO framework again, SRO, semantic retrieval optimization framework, and then we can kind of get into the details once you give us a high level of what it is.
You start with the with the website structure. So you figure out. Lately, what I would do, I would just dump 1,000 keywords in my custom LLM, and I would just ask it like, okay, figure out the structure, and it gives you a structure, and uh, you need to make sure that you follow it. And it's in the same way as I explained. It has macro, which is the main keyword, the main keyword you want to rank for, which kind of like a whole category. Then you have seed pages, which are like subcategories, and then you have nodes, which are pan out queries that long tail, long tail keywords that you want to rank for, and you start creating that content, because when you have uh, the the structure, it's easier for you to build the skeleton, the connections, because the way you build connections is through links. So macro links to seed, and seed links back to macro, and then seed links to node, and nodes links back to seed. You never link from node to macro, or from macro from node to node. That's not how AI understands uh, structure. So once you figure out all the topics that you have, you can create all these connections. And after you create connections, you start writing content that covers all those topics. The key to remember is you should not uh, ma- on every stage you don't cover the same thing you covered before. So the content that belongs to macro level, if it's a broad, let's say if it's a massage chair uh, article that explains best massage chairs in general. You explain what massage chair is, and you do it only once. Then, when you move down to seat page, which is, let's say, article about how to the best massage chair under $1,000, you don't explain what massage chair is, because you already explained it in a macro page. So you don't create the semantic drift. You because AI would expect, LLM would expect broad definition in a broad topic. It would not expect broad definition somewhere else. And when you do that in your seed, or even worse, node articles, you completely mess up structure, and it's a negative signal for LLM. Um, uh, then you make sure that your content is good from a factual point of view. That's super, super important, because LLMs, they have their own training data, and they know what's true. Um, and if you're gonna include data, if you're gonna make claims that are not true, that's gonna be a negative signal for your ranking, both in Google and in LLMs. If you mention something you need and AI doesn't know it, you need to make sure that you prove it with the not even with the link. You can do it with the link, but AI doesn't really care about the links. It cares about it's not gonna crawl that link. But if you're gonna say that certain study did show this results, then that's gonna be even good enough for LLM. You don't have to link out to everything. Like that's one of the misconceptions about traditional SEO and LLM SEO.
You talk about micro semantics quite a bit so far. What does that look like? I know that you've mentioned that it's, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of broke it down to almost like a per H2 level, and then talking about making H2 segment very specific. How important is that in the framework? Because you've talked from a high level, the macro side of things about how you build the pages and how you build the structure. Getting into the content, is that what basically the best way to look at the micro semantics side of it?
Micro depends on macro. That's the beauty of this framework. It all
Okay.
feeds on each other. So when you have your website structure, you understand that, let's say you're gonna be linking to certain seeds. You need to introduce those seeds in the markup page. Like you can't link to those pages without mentioning them. So that aspect kind of forces you to be more micro as well. So also like for micro optimization, micro semantics, you just create high quality, uh, easy to understand content. You use proper semantic triples. You use concise, small paragraphs, which is also like one of the uh, parts of answer engine optimization. Um, you make sure you don't mix concepts that are not related or that are not closely related.
Hmm.
So it has to stay on one topic uh, from the point of view of the article itself and from the point of view of each chunk of each small H3 section or H2 section. All of that should be concise and on topic. Uh, there are other things also that could be very technical. Um, when Korai is given his writer itself examples how to guidelines how to write, he gives them usually between 40 to 50, I think. I figure out about 200. You can, like, if you want to really extract from the right model all the micro semantics tactics, but uh, nobody's gonna do 200 micro semantic tactics. It's just it's supposed to it just the way you write it is supposed to be natural as well. It's a certain way of training your writers, and once they are there, they can do it naturally. Um, and just there are just certain things you need to be aware of.
We we've been talking about this concept of creating content that is satisfying the LLMs, but also somehow satisfies readers at the same time. And I think it might be a good time to ask, like, what um, what from what you can tell is the impact of the technical side of this? You've talked about structure in terms of how it's structured, but I know that we hear a lot of people talk about LLMs requiring very fast rendering, requiring technical things that perhaps weren't as vital on the SEO front. In your kind of pillars here, the pillars of this SRO framework, where does the technical aspects play into things?
It's the foundation. To be frank, it's one of the most important things you can do to your website. Um, you might not. I understand that a lot of business owners they might not understand what exactly each like how to approach this. And the best way of doing it, even if you don't know a lot of technical stuff, is to fix your speed, basically, fix your website structure, and fix your micro semantics. If you do that, you already covering like 80-90% of the framework, and you're gonna be doing very good in LLMs. But in general, um, uh, speed and technical issues are super important because from the way how LLM understands and fetches the content, speed is everything. So let's say the process of how LLM with access to internet does a search is following. When somebody is asking a question, LLM is finding it out, and I'm gonna simplify it slightly. It's more nuanced. So LLM finds out all the possible queries that it thinks make sense considering on a query frame. Then it analyzes the different search engines. So search engines are required. Like it's not like LLM is gonna replace search engines. It's not gonna happen. Search engines are required step in LLMs. Um, and then it analyzes all those results, and from those results, it picks. 3 to 8 uh, best ones that it thinks make sense, that are trustworthy, that are easy to understand. They are cheap to understand. That's one of the major concepts of the semantic retrieval optimization is cost of retrieval.
Hmm.
Uh, and The speed is deciding factor on the earlier stage. So, for example, LLM might pull 200 different results from Google or from Bing in case of ChatGPT. And On the speed level, the first step is the speed. If your website is too slow, you fail on the first stage. Like you need to get through third stage. The first stage is speed qualification. If LLM comes to your website, it knocks on a door, and it takes you 5 seconds to open that door and to say hi, it's already gone. So that's the role of the speed in this process.
So, like you said, it's vital.
Yeah, it's vital. It's vital. Yes.
It's vital. I'm just cherry picking on a lot of what you say, and I'm writing notes and then coming back with questions. Another question, and I wanted to spend some time on this because um, when publishing content, um, you talked about how important it is to be accurate. You talked about how important it is to kind of back up your statements. You did mention when you're surfacing something new. Now, a lot of rhetoric has been given about how important it is that your content has something new in it, because otherwise the LLMs already have that information and have already gotten it from somewhere else. Um, this is also an SEO concept too, but as it applies to LLMs. But you mentioned that when you have new content, you need to make sure that gets backed up. Um, Talk a little bit more about that. How important is it in your framework that your content has, we'll call it, new items? And then if it's really important and if you recommend people bringing those to the forefront, what are some strategies to make sure that you're backing that new content up properly so that the LLM trusts it?
Yeah, you definitely need to refresh content, even if you being retrieved by LLM. It doesn't mean it's gonna stay like that. It's probably gonna change. The industry changes, so LLM expects actually for your content to be refreshed. So it is a factor, and the way you can do it, the way you can add new information is without wild claims. So like you can't just come up with something and say x equals y without any proof. If this is a new concept, if LLM doesn't know it, uh, so you need to back it up with some kind of research or with some kind of logic that LLM would understand. LLM understands logic. Like if you're gonna give it a logical statement that makes sense, uh, it's gonna take it as truth. Like it's not, it might not check it because checking, like let's say this is something very new and it's not in the pre-training data. It's not gonna know if it's true. But if you're gonna sound confident and your statement is gonna say like based on this case study done by some reputable company, uh, uh, we think that we can come up with this conclusion, then it can actually it will work, and it is a good boost inside for the content for the website.
Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. You talked about knowledge base. A lot of us are familiar with the Google and their knowledge graph and how that works. Um, the ideas of getting into the knowledge graph and what that can do for you as a brand, as a website. What is different about the way an LLM creates what you refer to as a knowledge base?
LLM has pre-trained data, and this pre-trained data is uh, it goes into stages. So LLM might be trained for 6 months, and they might update certain things. And the sources that they use is high quality. So it's books, it's Wikipedia, it's maybe Forbes, um, high quality, reputable sources. Some people complain that their website is being used on LLM for pre-training. for 90%, maybe like 95% of people, it's not true. LLM will not train its core knowledge base on some random website, even if you have a DA80, it doesn't matter unless it's a institutional organization with high authority. They will not use your data. That's the difference. It's you should not really uh, uh, it goes into in stages, and every time, like, the problem is going to be from that there are not going to be that much information to train it on. um, uh, uh, when it's asking for information for subjective things or like timely things, it's not using its pre-trained data. It might use it for established facts to double check that your website is actually knows what you're talking about, but it's not gonna if it's subjective, it's gonna do this final process, and it's gonna analyze the internet, and it's gonna synthesize answer based on what it finds online, uh, the reputable sources, the cheapest, the most credible sources that it can find, and that it synthesize an answer from that pile.
Okay. Um, a lot of conversation has moved from keyword to entities. And again, we're familiar with entities from our SEO experience. You're now addressing the LLM side of things. Talk about the shift, if any at all, in what you've found and in the processes that you've created.
Yeah, entities are super important. It's like the basis for everything for this strategy for ranking an LLM is the foundation is traditional SEO. Then you have semantic SEO, which actually deals with entities. Semantic SEO is perfect with dealing with entities. It explains it very well. Carey does unbelievable job, and entities are what LLMs understand. Like this is LLMs understand that certain entities they exist in this uh, multidimensional graph with vectors, and there are certain things that related to other things, and yeah, they are fundamental because if your semantic content network, this is your structure of your website, it depends on the semantic relationships. Because if you gonna um, talk about one entity but not the other not the closely related entities, that's a negative sign from Google and from LLM point of view, because it expects it there. Like the goal to for this SRO for retrieval optimization is to make your content look as close to what AI sees internally as possible. And if you don't do it through entities, if you don't include them, if you don't mark them properly, you don't explain them properly, you not matching that internal knowledge graph that LLM has, and that's a negative sign for ranking and for retrieval.
So, in essence, like if you're talking about the Eiffel Tower, but you don't mention Paris, or
Yeah.
you don't, you know, like that's going to be a negative because entities matter. They matter a lot. And the fact that you mentioned one entity without tying it to its closely related entities can be a big negative.
Yeah, exactly. There is a concept that called the semantic salience, and it's basically it's a number from 0 to 1, and it shows how closely related is that concept. So yeah, if LLM comes to a page and it's about Eiffel Tower and it doesn't mention it's Paris, Paris and Eiffel Tower is like 0.99, like
Right. Super
relevance.
close to one.
Super close to 1, yes. There are other Eiffel Towers in Las Vegas and other places, but that's the one that you want. Uh, yeah, like if you don't do it, it's a negative signal. Uh, you need to cover everything, all the closest related entities on a page when you explain, when you try to optimize for what we call in semantic SEO central entity. That for
Yep.
every page you should have central entity. When you optimize for it, you mention all the related entities.
It's probably a good time to ask because I know a lot of people are thinking it. I've been asking a lot of the detailed questions, but where do tools come into play? What types of tools are there to support someone who's focusing on semantical SEO, but also, what you've called a semantical retrieval optimization as it relates to more on the LLM side? Like, what types of tools are you using or are you seeing help? You mentioned that it's very hard to track this stuff and to actually see where content is consistently showing up. But what tools are you using to help create the structure, the content, the research, all that?
For my own projects, I'm using. I built for a year. I've been building a custom GPT that's trained on semantic SEO and different patterns. So I'm using that. Um, I'm gonna start offering. I'm creating a SaaS suite. Hopefully, like in next couple months, I'm gonna have some reports that are specific to this problem. Because with semantic SEO, it's the thing is there are some tools, but either they are very complex and they are not very user friendly. For example, they can show you relationships between entities, but you don't they don't really tell you what to do with it. So you look at it, you look at this list of different dots in 3D space, and you don't really realize what are you looking at. There are some tools, there are some content writing tools. You can use, by the way, custom trained GPT or something like that. I've been using custom my GPT and with minimal correction. The content is doing pretty well. So AI content is not such a bad thing if you do it right. But you could use things like Surfer. Uh, it's not it's not LLM PH tool, but it's still pretty good. And there are there are tools. It just you really need to figure out exactly the right one, the right stack specifically for your case. Some cases that some websites they don't need, like you can figure out the relationships without complex tools. For other websites, like for example, I'm doing a case study for a person right now, and I have one of the first steps in a project like that is content pruning. So you need to analyze, let's say, 1,000 pages and figure out which page overlaps with what, and remove them. And that one is a big pain point, and it's kind of difficult to do it. But for some people, it might be even an issue. So it depends.
We've gotten really deep in the weeds. I want to ask a high level question to kind of finish things off here. It's just a very high overview, if we can. And I realize it's a very nuanced topic, but the question still is super relevant. How can, we'll say, affiliate site owners or niche site owners or even brands, how can they start to shift their mindset from a keyword first to entity and retrieval first on execution? And I know I'm asking a high level big question on purpose just to try to almost bring us back around to get the high level details out, to almost summarize what shifting from and I'm being overly simplistic even in the question, but from shifting from that kind of keyword first mindset to more of an entity, a retrieval first execution mindset.
The best way, I think, would be to switch from keywords to meaning. uh, AI LLMs, they understand meaning. So you need to explain your topic uh, in a meaningful way and kind of like disregard keywords. Another thing, which is I think is super important for any business in the AI era, is to start not from keywords, which is old school, but from your customer's journey. If you know your customer's journey, if you know what pain points they're trying to address one day, buying your product. When you know what you sell, that's one of one of the problems. Some people, they don't even know what they're trying to sell. But you gotta know what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and why. And when you have those figured out, you can map out uh, your customer's journey. And when you map out your customer journey, you can see, okay, like this person is asking following question at this stage. I can inject my product, my let's say uh, somebody is asking about a certain problem specific for them. That's the beauty of AI, because you can add a context window, you can add build a chat history about you, what your pain points are, and then when you're asking that chat, like, give me the best product that fits that solution, um, it's gonna go out and it's gonna analyze the content on the internet. And if your content explicitly fixes that problem, you're gonna be shown in LLM, and they're gonna see, okay, like I gotta buy this product because LLM told me. Uh, so you gotta know uh, what your customers want, and optimize your whole website uh, just for that. And this way, you're not optimizing for keywords. Keywords volumes are irrelevant. You're optimizing for intent, for problems,
Mhm.
and I think that would be a much easier way of seeing things, and much easier way of selling products in the age when uh, search volumes are not as relevant as they used to be.
Mhm. Mhm. Sergey, where can people follow along with what you're doing? You've got a lot going on, I know, and I want to give you a chance to let people know where they, if they have questions, maybe where they can reach out to you or something like that.
I started a new project. It's called semanticvector.com. They can if they would like to talk to me, just go there, reach out. I have my personal website, sergeylucktinov.com, where they can also reach out to me, and they can buy my book. All my information is there as well. Also, with the book, I have a custom GPT that comes with the book, where you can actually not only you read the book, but you also can use that custom trained GPT on semantic SEO, and you can expand your knowledge, and you can ask about the concepts in the book. You can upload. I have uh, uh, 17 pages custom GPT prompt that helps you create semantic content networks that comes with the book. So it's the book itself is a pretty good source for getting to know me. And if you're interested, you can follow me based on that knowledge.
Sergey, it's been really cool having you on. I mean, we have not gotten this deep in a while. I love going this deep personally. I know there are listeners that love going this deep. We've got a lot of them that love the super in depth ones. Thanks for coming on and sharing this complicated topic. Obviously, complicated to talk about without visuals and graphics and all these other kind of things. So I appreciate you jumping on and doing that. We'll make sure to get your website and those links in the show notes too, if people are listening and they just want to click over there. And thank you again, Sergey.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It was a
You
pleasure.
got it. We'll
Mm.
talk again soon. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.